Hello, hello, hello. Uh, yep, we're back, and I think what I want to quickly do is set up my phone so I'm able to monitor the stream. How are you guys doing? Just got back from work, and we on another. Uh, yeah, for people that know, I was not on yesterday, and that was because I had to go do something, basically. Yeah. So yeah, that was something I needed to attend to. But yeah, we're back. We're streaming. I want to make sure that my screen that is showing on stream is the actual screen that should be showing, basically. Is it? I think it's refreshing. Are we good? Okay. So we're straight. I want to. Yes. I just saw Daniel's message. Alright, what's up now? How your side? How did it go, man? Just saw your message on phone, and yep, we're just going to do what we've been doing for the past 70 something days. Hope you're good though. Yeah, let me jump into what we have for today. I have references here. I'm going to be modeling a gas cooker again, like if you were on from the beginning of the stream, like day one, day 10, whatever. I have a list of models that I'm going through, trying to knock out each day. We are, I won't say we're almost there, but I think this is one that would go down to the wire. Like I definitely would kind of be modeling on up until like the hundred day. Today we're knocking off the gas cooker, and yeah, let's just go. Let's go down. Let's start. I already have all of this in the scene. I'm going to clear out the scene. Then my PureRef. I want to pin my PureRef to Blender, basically. Right. So I'm going to bring in a cube, and I would GZ bring that up to the surface. Make sure the origin is down here, and I'm going to kind of be eyeballing this, but let me bring a human first for reference. I felt like I was going to eyeball it before, but let me see if I can use the human reference. So if a human is standing here, I feel like a gas cooker at the very tallest of heights should be a little bit above the waistline. Right? So we're looking at something like this. Yeah, this is the average height of this. So I am going to be just cutting up the shape into what it should be. I think right here, I'll GX this guy out of the way. Right here, there should be a loop there. Maybe GG up a little bit. We should have one right here. And then I want to delete that face, but let me unbevel this a little bit. Delete this face, and yep, I think we're looking it so far. I would bring this down again. I'm kind of eyeballing the proportions because I don't have like actual blueprints, but I think with this part done, I can select 1, 2, 3 and have this on a different mesh. Like the way it's even joined you could tell like that this is on a different mesh. So I'll select all of this and then extrude outward like so. And these two holdings right here, I will dissolve, and let's see how this is constructed. So this is constructed like this, right? In the front view, this was GZ down and then scaled down, basically. So this is what it's like. Then this one's was GZ up and then scale, but not as much as the other one, just scale down slightly, basically. So that's cool. That's kind of the shape. And since we have that shape, I feel like I should lock it down, right? And when I mean lock it down, I want to add a bevel to it so I don't lose that shape. So right here, I see that there's a little bit of an extrusion. So I'll extrude this backward a little bit, right? And then I'll bring 3D cursor to this point, and then I want to bring the origin to the 3D cursor. So it's right back there. Pause. So I'm going to GY, and then this point, I'm going to bring 3D cursor to that point, and then this origin, I'm going to snap back to that position. So that's cool. Again, I said I want to commit this. So I'm going to select all, maybe apply scale, and I would use bevel modifier instead. I wanted to do like a more destructive bevel, but I don't want the situation where I needed to call back this, man. That would be devastating. So I'm going to GZ, and I'm GZing enough so that here can also be a bevel. This was what it looked like before, and this is what, oh, I've committed it, so enough to be a bevel. So that's cool. I'll model this top that contains the burner and the likes. So I will do that by selecting both of this. I will select this face, these three faces, and I'll duplicate and separate that into a separate group. Plus this one, they should be joined into one. And then I want to clean up this mesh so that they all are contained in one, right? So I can select all of it and maybe do merge by distance. So this is one plane right now. So I'll select all of that, extrude a little bit, right? And then I can add in a seam right here and then extrude this a little bit again. So that's cool. That looks good. I'm not mad at what I'm seeing. I'm going to apply that scale. I see 5 of you on the stream. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. So I'm going to scale this down a little bit. And from what I'm seeing here, it seems this is scaled down maybe up until this point, right? And then all of this was beveled. But then it's going to give me a hell of a mesh to manage, right? So I'm going to still do that actually, because that feels like it's better than using a sub D. But let me try a sub D and see what it looks like. So I'm going to extrude this on the Z. 1, 2, and maybe a third. That is cool. I can apply a sub D and see everything is already secularized, for lack of a better term. So I'm going to scale this out, right? To just tighten those edges. Maybe scale on the X slightly. This also I would bevel, scale out. So let's see. It's not rounded. It is not rounded. So I'm going to go back to my sub D. Probably turn it off. And then you see this edge is right here. Let me isolate this. This edge is by the corner. So this edge, this, and then this. I want to run a bevel on that. Okay, not working. Let's see. I'm going to turn on my sub day again and just let me try that bevel a little more. But that doesn't seem like it's going to work, right? So how do I create the shape? What I'm thinking is ditch the I'll ditch the bevel first of all. Shade auto smooth. I think I need to correct normals a little bit too. And then I'll select more on this. Where is it? More. And then I can scale Shift Z. Scale Shift Z. Okay. Makes sense. Right here, I would select this. This shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be hard at all. Like sometimes Blender will just kind of pull it fast on you. That's why it's always important to keep at it. I didn't think I'll spend this much time here, but here we are. So I think this sub D is going to work actually. This one that I'm doing right now. I'm going to be able to have the rounded corners. What if I isolate this and just round it off? Like I definitely can get it here. But then this part is not rounded off like this. This can be held, this can be held. Like that is one way of doing this. I still see people. This guy is here. Are they? You see they here? That's crazy. I should say like the first time we joined this stream with this. Well, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. So let's go back to solving this. I literally can't escape this. I literally have to figure out how to do this. But let's see. So we're back here. What if I apply the bevel? Yeah. And then you know what I'm thinking here? I feel like the way these two are sequenced, it's not even helping me. So should it be bevel first before sub D or sub D first before bevel? We're going to try both. And should it be bevel first before sub D or sub D? Yeah, I'm going to do sub D first before bevel. Right? So with this, I probably want to do something like this, right? Yep, like so. Then I would crank up the sub D. Right, so I have this roundness here. Like, I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but this is how I'm doing it right now. And yep, I'm going to turn off the sub D for a bit so that I can mark all the edges that I need to maybe be sharp or to have a little bit of a bevel. So let's mark. Let's mark. I think I'm going to isolate this. Right. Right here should also have a bevel. I would select these two and then this two. So just going to run a very, very small bevel on that. And let's reactivate our sub D and see. Yup. Perfect. I'm good, like mad, like I am good. I'm not touching this again. You see this bevel is going out. So yeah, this took a long time, but yeah, it happens sometimes like that where you're just trying to figure out something. Next up, I'm going to work on that board behind it. So in order to do that, I'm going to steal mesh from what's existing. So I'll shift DZ, separate that selection, right? And then I'll bring origin to that geometry. So on the side, I can easily rotate and then position this, let's say back here. I'm going to take out all of those modifiers, like everything is out. Everything. GY. Okay, I'm noticing something back here. This shouldn't be curved. And that's because I didn't bevel this part. So if I add a bevel here, I think it's off for that. So that's dope. I'm going to how I'm going to approach this is, I think first of all, I'm going to clear off all these edges. So I'm going to dissolve all of that edge and then I would bevel this like so. Doing just a little bit. And then right here, I would insert, scale all of that down. But that bevel needs to be rounder. So I'm going to turn this off. Do it another way. I'm going to insert, right? And I'm going to bevel. So I did vertex bevel right here. This is a vertex bevel. And these bevels, I see these bevels, these vertices right here. I'm also going to bevel just a smidge. Or I could add a sub D to that. That's also another way. But let's leave it like this. I'm going to look at this from another angle to actually see how thick it is. Not so thick, but I want to add in an extrusion right here. Right, and then this whole edge. You know what? I need to reset the rotation on this and then work on it first before I rotate it into place. So I will extrude this, select all of this, extrude on the Z, and then I can feel all of that. So I'm going to shade smooth on that. Maybe give this a little bit of a bevel. Let's see. Just slight. We're not doing too much. Slight. Should this be a glass? It doesn't look like a glass to me. It doesn't look see-through, so we're not going to make it a glass. Right here at the base, we see some kind of a joining. So I think first of all, right now, I'm just going to rotate this on the X by 90. Right? And then I'll move into place right here. That's cool. Maybe GZ a little bit. And then all of these parts, I'm going to shift D. Separate that selection. I'm going to scale that down. right? And I'm going to kind of try to create this shape. I can either use two cylinders and connect them, which I feel like could be the best, and I'm going to do that instead because I've not joined two cylinders on the side before, so this could be a learning opportunity for me. So I'm going to SX, scale this SX, and on the side, I'm going to do something like this. Shift D, right? And then these edges right here will be connected to each other. We're going to select 3 and I'm going to frame that. I'm going to select 3 on this side too. So that's cool. I can select all of that and bridge. And we have one shape. I will insert this and then I will extrude on the X. Right? All of this, I'm just going, I'm going to flip on that axis. I'm going to shade smooth. I also want to add in a sub D, but see how this sub D just messed up this thing. I'm going to select this too. Right, select this also, and then bevel. As a matter of fact, I feel like this should be included in the bevel. But it seems I need to add scale because that is not happening proportionally. So yeah, this looks good. Next up, oh man, I'm going to rotate this slightly and GY a little bit. All of this I would GZ. Daniel, shout out to you, man. I saw your message. Means a lot, bro. Right around. Ooh, what? It's messed up. Oh. Like it looks good here, but it doesn't look good here. So maybe let me just mirror this to the other side. JJ. Like what was that I saw just now? Right here, I would maybe select this. P to separate that selection. I will select both and SX. GX on this a little bit. I will select all of that. Delete and I will extrude on the Z. Just like so. And then you see this. I'm going to scale this down on the S-axis first. Right? Down here, I'm going to extrude along the normals like so. Right? This makes sense. And then this. I think it should be curved. No, not the whole thing. This edge should be curved like so first. And then these two are also going to be beveled also. Like so. So that's it. I'm going to shade auto smooth. It doesn't look like our reference actually. So I'm going to isolate this, remove these edges, and I'll bevel again. Right? I think this is not bad, but I also want to make things look alright. So I want to what am I using to? I'm going to isolate this. I'm going to join just to make sure that we're able to have a complete loop go all the way like so. I'm going to select this edge, right? And I'll bevel now. Let's see. So now I'm able to Down to round this off completely, I feel like this should be scaled on the Y a little bit, just like so. So I'll apply this scale. So all of this will be beveled like so. But let's see. It's not looking all right at all. So I'm going to bevel again, but this time make it shorter. I'm going to take away this edge. Let's try again. Again, if you see me look to the side, I am actually monitoring the stream. So I'm going to select this all the way through, like so. Right? So all of these are going to be beveled into one, like so. And then this face, I'm going to insert, right? Turn this into a circle, scale that down, rotate on the X. I'm going to scale GZ, and I will extrude once and extrude again. With this, I'll separate that selection, scale down, and extrude this out. So that's good, but it's just too humongous compared to the reference. So let me just bring it in context of model. I'm going to select this, and all of this, I'm going to GX, like so. So that's good. But I don't know, like the joining on this part doesn't, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems it's just clip. Oh, it's not a semi, it's not a circle. It's just clipped in. Okay. Well, this could work too. I think next up for me is I think I need to do the burner and the top of the gas, basically. So right here, I'll run a loop through like so, and I think I need to see this from a different angle. Where did I get the gas? I think it was here. Like a top down or close up of this could be nice. Let's see. Nah, it's not clear enough, man. So I'm going to zoom in on this and then copy it. I'm going to paste into my pure ref. We're going to model it. It actually has a nice shape actually. So this part I'm going to select, and then I'm going to insert. Right, scale all of that down, turn it into a circle. On the Z axis, I'm going to rotate G, scale this down, rotate just like so, and I'm looking at this sub there. I really hope it can hold my extrusion. So I'm going to extrude. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn off this sub D. I'm going to extrude. Yep. And I'm going to scale down like so. This looks humongous. So I'm going to scale, extrude lightly, and then scale all of the information in. Right. I'm going to select boundary loops on this, and then select this loop down here. So all of this I'm going to bevel, and then when I turn on, Yeah, what a boner. What a boner. I like that. Like, it looks really good. Um I'm going to undo, and what I'm doing is, like, I feel like this should be smaller, like so. I'm going to scale this, bring this in, GZ, and then I'm going to select boundary loops on those, and then bevel. I'm going to, yep, this better. So all of this, same thing, same drill. I'm going to go down to insert. First of all, turn off sub D, turn this into a circle, right? I'm going to scale all of that information down, RZ, and right here I would G, rotate. I'm going to scale, right? And here I'm going to scale down. I'm going to extrude this a little bit, scale this, GZ, and then I'm going to go down to select loop. I'm going to select boundary loops, bevel all of this, and that's cool. Yeah, we need to go down to making the boner itself, right? So the boner itself is going to be a different mesh. Ooh, okay. Network is going crazy actually. Oh, network is really low, really low. Like, it's almost 0 kilobytes, fluctuating. So there's a likelihood that this stream may cut. If it does, I'm just going to start a part 2, basically. But I'm just going to continue. I don't want it to bother me. So yeah, let's go. I just need to monitor and make sure that I'm on it when the stream cuts. Okay, yeah. We need to model the burner. So I'm going to duplicate this into a separate element, and this is going to be scaled down. This looks like a very unique shape. I'm not really sure of how I'm going to go about it, but all we can do is try. Right here, you know what? I want to, you see this? I'm going to use the active element as a pivot and SX 0. So it's flat like so. And I'm going to apply that. So all of this I would extrude, right? And you see this part? Oh, you see this part right here? Can I extrude? Or maybe I should use a boolean instead. I'm going to use a boolean. So I'm going to bring cursor to that point. I'm going to scale that. SY, SX, and GZ. Just like so. So I can GZ into the mesh, and then, nope. And then difference on that. So that's cool. Something that is very prominent in that down part is you see a fixture. You know what? Let me turn off the boolean and maybe make that first before I do all of that cutting. So right here, I'm going to select this edge, dissolve that, and oh, I feel like I'm going to approach this differently. So I want to bring in a cylinder, right? Scale this on the Z. And I'm going to subdivide this, actually. The bottom I'm going to bevel, apply scale. I'm going to bevel that, and then the top. Oh, you know what? I'm going to select both and just turn it into a circle, right? If I shade auto smooth, it looks good. I feel like I want to subdivide again, because what I'm seeing here looks like it's going to be, this is what I'm trying to model here, these holes. I think this is enough. So I'm going to scale this in one time and insert again. I'm going to have this on this side. So all of this, I'm going to select every other one. I wish there was a faster way to do this. I would have used check how the selects, but check how the selects won't do that. So just bear with me as I go one after the other to select all of this. Stream still on, let me check. Okay, stream still on. All right, so all of this I can extrude along normals, dip all of that in, that's cool. And then I can do my boolean code that I did earlier. GZ and SY, just like so. All of this, I'm going to difference, and I don't know what this thing is, like what this is. I don't know what it is, so I'm not just going to attend to it. All of this I would extrude outward, and this has a top. So I'm going to shift D and Z, scale that. What the top looks like is scaled, is extruded a little bit, and then only one part is no, both parts are beveled, but like at different weights. So here is beveled at a higher weight than this part. So that looks good. I even like the way it cuts into the second mesh. So let me place this in a way that it's not having a bad geometry. So this looks perfect. I like it. So the top of this I would insert, and it has like an extrusion a little bit like so, and then scaled in. So I'm going to select both edges, nope, like so, and I'll bevel. That's cool. I would isolate this, and not a bad bone. I wish I could just duplicate this for the other one, but that's not the case. So this is cool. Up here, this looks pretty easy to like straightforward. So I'm going to shift D, separate that cell. Why am I not hearing my audio? This is hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. Me not hear my audio is just, it's weird. I don't know why that's happening. Me not hear my audio is just, it's weird. Okay, maybe because I'm not seeing it on my phone. I'm not hearing it on my phone. I don't know, but on my computer it looks good. So I'm just going to go on. Right here, monitor string. Yep. This second one, oh, right. So right here is cool. Um, I'll scale this down. Extrude, right? Shift D, and then I'll scale a lot. I would GZ above the surface. Maybe view and frame selected. I will extrude, and then I would insert, scale this down, and extrude on the Z. Up top right here, I would insert, right? Turn it to a circle, but it's fine. Scale this down, but it's scaling from the active element. So I'm going to change it to bounding box and then extrude this out. So I'm going to scale this and I'm going to select boundary loops, and right here, I'm going to bevel. So I'm not just going to bevel that, I'm going to bevel a lot more places. So right here it should be selected, and this is good. So I can bevel like so. And I can apply the sub D, and the sub D works. I think this also should be beveled. Isolate. This should be beveled. So I'm going to select all the entire edge. I don't think the down part is needed, just the top part. Bevel a little bit. Call back, and this is the second burner. Right here. I'm going to take this bottom and just send it out. So those two are done. I'm just going to do the top part. That's the, I don't know if I should call it top part, like the stand. And for the stand, I would need to select some edges, like these edges. I'm going to duplicate that, separate that selection, and I can ES. Maybe apply scale first. ES, SX, right? And then I'll go to the top view, SX, SY, and I'll select all of it and just extrude like so. So this is cool, but we need to make sure that we have loops at the right place to communicate the right ideas, right? So this loop right here, I'm going to bevel, and this is going to mark the center point of this gas. So I'm going to select both, extrude a little bit. No, the bevel is too thick, so I'm going to bevel a lot smaller. This extruded, and then, as a matter of fact, maybe I even want to mirror this to the other side completely, like bring geometry to this point. And whatever it is I want to extrude towards the center like so, I could just mirror, right? So that's cool. Right here, I want to select this edge, right, and just bevel that. GZ, select this and bevel. I'm going to I'm gonna bevel that more actually. Maybe give it more resolution. Yep, that's cool. I'm going to shade auto smooth flip this completely to the other side, apply that mirror, and this right here I would bevel just a smidge, and then this I'm going to extrude along the mouse. That's cool. I think these two, they are going to be isolated, and I will just bevel like so. Let me apply that scale and do that again. Yep, that's good. Right here I'll need to add more of that detail. So you see this, I'll dissolve this edge and I'll bring one to this part, and sx, no, not sx, sy0, right? This is going to represent the midway point of this. So again, I need to make sure these things are the same height though. I think this man can go now. He has done his assignment. So that's cool. I'll put this cut here, extrude up onto this point, right? I'll bevel this top parts, give it a lot of resolutions, and that's cool. I think down here too should be beveled, so I'm going to do the same. Select down parts and just run a bevel on that. Yeah, that's done. I need to add one more right here and on the other side, and then I'll be able to like just mirror this all across. So this I'm going to extrude on the Z up onto this point. Right here I'll put in this loop, and then this would extrude outward like so, right? Just a little bit. And then this I would GG, this I would bevel. So that's cool. I'll also do the same for this. So I'll SX, oh, not SX, SY, SY0, bevel. Let's just do the same. And we could go on to the next SY. I'm going to extrude this to the top. We're kind of going to do the same thing. Loop, extrude forward a bit, GY, GX. So I'm just kind of eyeballing the position right now. Right here, bevel. So that's cool. Is there a way I can copy the, in fact, I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to try to copy one and just move to this position. So you see the one I'm trying to copy right here is this. You see this? Right, that's cool. Ah, what's going on now? Can I isolate and then? So how I'm going to do this is, oh my God. Can I duplicate onto this point? Rotate 90, rotate 180, and then bring this down to this point, right? And then I'm not going to merge stuffs at last, like this. merge at last, this, merge at last. Same with this, instead of reworking the whole thing. So yeah, we can just mirror things and has the final look. I'm going to turn on sub D, see how it's reacting. Terribly, as expected. So I think what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to turn on this, and then I'm just going to be adding bevels to parts that needs them. For example, this, it needs to be rounded a certain way for it to work. Yep, that's it. And this is already rounded actually, so that's fine. I'm going to undo that bevel, and I would apply my mirror, right? Because it's not all four corners that needs to have that bevel. It's just these that are close right here. The other ones are those corners have kind of a different size of bevel, right? Nope. Dissolve edge. Then this has a different kind of bevel, actually. Bevel slightly. So that's cool. I'm going to add a general bevel, which is not working. And I think maybe because I've not recalculated normals or I've not measured by distance. So let's run that bevel again. What's this? Why is this happening? Okay. That's cool. Right here, I want to select these faces in sets. I'll scale that down and I'll turn this into a circle, right? And on the top view, I will rotate G to move into position and I will scale this down. So I would extrude, no, I would extrude. I would insert and extrude again. Abby, I'm going to scale and extrude. I didn't think this was going to take me this much time. This is crazy, actually. So all of these edges are going to be beveled, like these two. I'll bevel this right here. I'll bevel. So that's nice. This three, I'll shift D into a separate thing in the jiggy, and then this extrudes outward. I'll put a loop right here, and all of this would be extruded along normals. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of go into edit mode and SZ, GZ, and that's this burner. But for the burner to be complete and make sense, I have to select this, insert, scale down to this point, and then I would extrude, extrude, and extrude. That's cool. Yeah. I think also this, I'll just turn on sub D under. Is there a way I can duplicate this? Because I don't want to do it anymore. Let's try. Oh, no, I can't. What about copy the surface? So oh no, like that won't work. How about doing this again, Sha? Jesus. Okay, let's do it again. It's all right. I can turn this into a circle. I'm going to scale all of that down, rotate, and then I'll scale this, move this into position. So this is going to be kind of like a bigger burner. scale, and then I would extrude this, but turn off sub D first. Extrude ES, and then extrude downward. So all of these edges, these two are going to have a different bevel from this one. So that's cool. Right here, I'm going to bring cursor to this point, and with this I will duplicate this one and bring selection to that what? The origin is not in the center. Bring selection to that cursor. I'm going to scale this up to that size and GZ a little bit. So this right here, I can turn on sub D and everything is working. So that makes sense. I think I'll just go straight down to doing the knobs. After the knobs, then I can go to the bottom of the cooker. I think relatively top of the cooker is like kind of done. So for the knobs, these are 7, so I'm going to bring in 7 loops. Let's see, these 8, make that 7. For the first one right here, I'm going to bring cursor to this point, and then I'll bring in a cylinder. I'm going to zoom into this and just kind of see how things are looking. I'll scale this down, and then I'll frame to selected, shade auto smooth, and then this face I'll bevel basically, right? Then this face, and then maybe this, we could isolate those and probably select boundary loops on those, then bevel those, right? And then extrude along normals on those. I'm going to select boundary loop on this, then select this edge all the way, and we're going to do the same for this all the way, right? And then bevel. That's cool. I can apply, what was that? I wanted to apply a sub D. Can apply a sub D on that, and we see that the mesh is all janked up. But if we have an inset here, I think it fixes that. This face back here, I don't need it, so I'm going to delete this face. And then we see that there is a divide here too, so I'm going to bevel this a little bit and then extrude. So that's cool. At the end right here, there's something that attaches it to the boner itself. So I'm going to have this as a separate mesh, which I think I will still need to join later. I can ES on that, and then GY, just bring it to the surface of the boner. So right here, I'll select this, and maybe let's do Alt S on that. Just bring it higher and then round it off. Doesn't look good. So this, I'm going to GY forward. This loop, I'll select that, and then let's do that again. So this is good. I'm going to select this and then EY, one, EY, another one. So all of this EY. These both, I'm going to join into the same mesh, actually, then shade auto smooth. So now it's time to like distribute all of this. I'm going to bring, maybe too big. I'm going to scale down, bring cursor to that point, duplicate and selection to that cursor. So this rotates a little. I'm going to do the same right here. Duplicate, selection to cursor, rotate, and then I'm going to duplicate, selection to cursor. So all of this is good. Maybe a little too big on the knobs, so I'm going to go to individual origins, scale those down, and then I can GY on that. So all of this, I'm going to flip. So that's cool. That's actually satisfying and rewarding after all the whole initial efforts. So all of this I will duplicate on those, select, and then I will extrude this out like so. You see this edge, so I'm going to take it out. And I think whatever is going on down here is the same thing as what's up here, what I did up here. So I'm going to leave that for now. And I see that I missed something like this. So what I'm going to do is, you see this, I'll duplicate to that position, right? Scale it down. And this base is the same, but then the actual button is not. So I'm going to create a loop here and come to the side view. Everything that is ahead of that loop is just going to be chopped off. Right? So I can Y on this, fill, and then this I will just bevel. So that's that button. I will scale this a little bit. GX. This, okay, it's already at the other side, so that's cool. So you see this down here, I feel like that's the same as what's down here. So I'm going to bring cursor to this point. I'm going to duplicate this and bring selection to this point. So that's cool. I can just maybe scale it, not necessarily scale, but you see this, I can GZ. Ooh, that's some kind of too much though. See this part? I'm going to GZ a little bit, right? So that's cool. I'm okay with that. Next up, I'll do the legs. I'm going to bring in a loop to this point. Let's see if it doesn't affect the boner as much. So cursor is going to come here, and then for the foot, it's basically a cylinder, right? And on the reverse Z axis, I could G this into position, and it's kind of straightforward in the sense that it's more about extrusion on the Z and then just having a base for the stand, like so. So I can shade auto smooth, maybe GZ a little bit on that, and then this I would mirror, and that's fire actually. I see some panel lines that I want to capture. So for example, here there's a panel line, so I'm going to bevel that and then just create an insert to fake that panel line. This will be mirrored. That's cool. Next up, we're going to be doing inside. What's this? Okay, that's the stand. We're going to be doing inside of the boner. Oh man, I really can't make. I will first of all do the cover. I really can't make out what's inside the boner yet. I'll shift D on that, separate, and then all of this I'll extrude. Right? If you look at it from the front, you see that, oh my god. See that there's a kind of a hole on this side. GZ. I'll bevel this. And then I'll select this. As boundary box SC, GC, SC. I think this is enough size. So I think what I'm going to do is isolate this, and I want to bridge between this 4 in front and 4 in back. So it just creates a hole, basically. That's cool. Only that the glass here, I'll make it a different mesh. So all of this, I'm going to fill, and I'm going to fill. So that's That's pretty dope, but I'm seeing some mesh issues here. So I'm just going to offset. I need to come to the outside, man. You know what? Let me bevel. And then we're going to use 1. Right? I'm going to bring origin to geometry and then flip this to the other side. So I'll apply that mirror. Maybe I don't need to do the same for that. That's cool. So right here, I'll bring this up and we're going to just create space for the handle. So the handle looks something like, nope, I'll just mirror this, apply that mirror. So the handle is like Shift D on this. Hope I'm doing this at the right place. Let's see. No, that's the wrong place. So this SC0, that selection didn't look straight, so I had to straighten it out. So I'll Shift D. I need to leave the stream by 9 o'clock. Like, I need to be done by 9, basically. So I'm going to extrude like so. I'm going to put in another right here and then just extrude that. This is going to be flipped. And I'm going to apply that mirror. But you see all of this? GY. I can GZ. No. GZ a little bit. GZ. And then this I would mirror. So that's cool, but this looks too boxy for me. Like, I don't know, but something about it looks really boxy. And I am kind of tempted to round off some parts of this just of my own volition, because I feel like looking at it, it's a really rigid gas cooker. So I'm going to isolate 4, right? I'm going to insert, right? I'm going to extrude 1, extrude 2. Oh, but the bevel is not making this work actually. So I'm going to undo that, delete these faces, select them, and I'll just extrude them on that x-axis, EX. Okay, this actually needs that bevel. It does. Everything just looks really harmful. Okay. Delete face. You know what? I'm going to undo, delete these edges. I'm going to select these. 1, 2, right? Insert on those. And then extrude. I'll just delete those faces. Man, why are these not? Maybe I should make the bevel a bit smaller. Okay, that's cool. So this should be rounder, or maybe have a chamfer to it. Like maybe a chamfer would do. but I think I'm just going to round it off with the bevel. So this I'll take to 8.5. Yeah, but this doesn't flow. Like, I think it should be a chamfer, you know? Still doesn't flow actually. So I'm going to select both, and maybe I want to bring those forward. GY. Select more, right? And then GY. Like so. That's fire. So the chamfer makes sense because it's almost echoing what's going on up here. Let me see if I can copy these offsets and use for this one. Okay. Man, inside of this, I do not know. I'm going to hide this. Right? Looks like I have some time to make the inside. Am I still streaming? Oh my god. Okay, I'm still on. That's good. Right here, I'll duplicate this. Right? Select this. I would isolate that. You see these edges? I'm going to dissolve those vertices. And then I'm going to fill. Select all of it. Maybe I'll do grid fill instead. You know what? Grid fill didn't work. So let me clear out all the unwanted vertices. Dissolve verts. Dissolve verts. Fill. So I can bring back the other ones. Ooh. You see that cover? I want to bring this into that cover actually. Scale. GZ. And then this will be extruded all the way to the top. But the face right here will be deleted. So let me bring back those meshes that I hid. I'm going to bring cursor to around here, and then origin is going to come to 3D cursor. So I'm going to select all of this and RX on that. Oh, what's going on? Let me do RX on this. Wow. RX. Like this, what I expect. Rotate like that. So let's do active elements. RX. Cool. So this part, I want to have bevel right here, a bevel right here, so it will allow for this to extrude out. So it kind of creates an illusion when you rotate this RX that is adjusting as it opens. So I would hide that mesh and let's just do something for the inside. I don't want to leave it plain. However, I'm not even seeing anything that communicates the inside properly. Look at references. I think this is a good reference for the inside. Copy. I'm going to paste in PureRef. Yeah. So we're looking at something like this for the inside. All this. I would ES. Wow, what's going on? Okay, there's a mirror on that, so I need to apply that mirror. I will ES on that, right? ES on this too. You know what? Yeah, I'll select this, make it a different mesh, and then this will let me extrude this outward like so. I'm going to select this and then bevel, apply scale, then bevel. Oh, so it looks like I probably have to bevel one after the other. But that's still not going to work though. That's cool. Shade, auto smooth, GY on that. Man, I really don't know what's going on inside, bro. I really do not know. I'm going to bring back the other mesh, and that's going to be, maybe this is just going to be open small, or just going to be closed permanently. Yeah, I'm going to go with closed permanently. So yeah, that's it. I'm just going to save file and make sure, I think something I need to make sure of is that one of these is saved, so that when it's time for me to texture on this gas cooker, I know the reference I got it from. So I'm going to bring that into the blend file. So we have this here. Gas cooker is the 30. So I'm going to save this as the 30, and the 30 is a gas cooker. So right here, I can pack all of that resource, and that's cool. So yeah, I'm done. Shout out to everyone that joined the stream. This was amazing. Thank you guys so much. So that is about it, guys. So long. And until I see you guys in the next one. Peace.